Okay, class 12 students, now I'm going to start next chapter number 7, that is data structure. So first question arises here, what do you mean by data structure? Data structure is a way, or you can say it is a systematic approach where the data can be well organized and stored in any memory location, so it can be easily accessible and we can work over it very efficiently and requiring a less requirement of these resources. So the data structure is basically defined as, I'm repeating here, data structure is a way of organizing your data in such a way so that we can access it very easily for efficient work. So in Python, data structure is divided into two categories. First is primitive, second one is non-primitive. Primitive data structure or data type are those data types which are basically inbuilt, or there is not any combination of more than one or two data types there. For example, primitives are the integers, float, boolean or string. These are the data types which comes under primitive data types. Second one is non-primitive, where we include here array, tuple, dictionary, set, file or list. Look, there is a difference. Non-primitive, that means where we can include these primitive data types into it. For example, if we take here example of array, so array is just a collection of all simultaneously, or you can say the homogeneous elements, where the data types would be same, and it can be string, it can be integer, it can be floating point, whatever you can take. Again here tuple is the collection of different data types element. You can take here strings, element, integer, floating point, whatever you want to take here in just a single tuple here enclosed with opening parenthesis. Dictionary, again the combination of key value pair, where you can take keys as immutable data types more than one. Set, again the collection of unordered set of elements. File is, again you can take here many kinds of characters there. List, again the same as the collection of all heterogeneous elements, where you can take different kinds of elements in one list and close with close brackets. Here in this chapter we have to do list, stack and queue. These three concepts we will include here. So list will be categorized into two ways. First is linear, second one is non-linear. Linear, that means a sequence where we can create, or we can take our elements in such a way or in such a line. Non-linear, that means graph or tree, where the branches will be created. So we have to categorize in two types, linear and non-linear. In this chapter we have to do only the linear concept. So we will do here list, stack and queue, linear data types including here stack and queue, which is very important. So let's see how this list can work. As we have studied about list is a collection of all such elements which has different types, and it has indexing also, starting with by default as 0, and it would go till the length -1. That means, let's suppose you have 5 elements in the list, so the length would be 5, and indexing would be started from 0 to 4. And here is a concept of negative indexing also. If we reverse the list, or if we use here negative indexing, so starting index would be -1 until the minus of length. So the length of this list is 5, so number that is equal to the number of elements, and starting of this negative indexing with -1 to -5. This is a concept of indexing. Now the next operations we are performing, creating a list. How to create it? It is just simple as, first you have to create here list variable. You can take here, or any variable, any name you can take here. It's not mandatory you have to take a list 1. You can take as L, you can take as Li, whatever you want. So list 1 I'm taking here as a variable. Here in these close brackets I'm taking here 5 elements here, which is kind of integers itself. Now again Second kind of list you can maintain here, we will include here on the string type, or next also we can include here with these 5 elements here. Now we are including here integer type, string type. Here we can take the combination of both these, because list is mutable. We can change the value of element at their place. It supports the mutability concept also. So here these are some examples of the list we can create in close brackets, or you can say the square brackets here. Now the next one is how to traverse it. Before starting traversing, how to get individual elements. There are two concepts here. We can access our elements individually, as well as we can access all these elements from the list also, list, string, whatever you want. So traversing would be the same. If we accessing all the elements or visiting all the elements of the list, it is also known as traversing a list. How can we do it? Traversing a list, first I'm taking here list which has 4 elements of integer type. Now we have to find the length of this list here. If we find the length of this list here, so list length variable I'm taking here, and length of list, len function we will use here, and its pronunciation is length. And in argument we have to pass the list name as a list here. For loop we are using here to traverse each and every element of this list. For I in range function we will use here. In our previous video I have explained already what do you mean by range function and its variations also. So in range function we are including here, by default its original value is 0, and list length is the last value, that is the last element's index here. So print length of I. So at this time I will include here 0th position and 0th position the value here, length of list of I. That means here we are printing as element, not as a index. If I use here only I, print I, so index would be printed, and I'm using here list of I, that means element would be print here 30. Again it will go there. Now the i's value will be changed, position will be 1, and at one place here is 32 value, up to so on. All the elements would be traversing here, and all the elements would be printed here. Now the next method we will discuss in the next video.